So that's the thanks I get for healing your arm and hand?
Let's not forget that right after that, you ripped out my heart! Where are we anyway? Is this hell? I'm not crazy about being stuck with you for eternity. But I'll make it work. And you'll pay! I hope you're ready for this!
In a world where negative emotions birth vile curses and danger lurks in the shadows, a high schooler's uncanny physical abilities entangle him with the mysterious and dark art of Jujutsu. Witness as the lines between man and monster blur, and enter a thrilling realm where battling malevolent spirits is just another day at school. Episode 1. The scene unfurls with Yuji Itadori, a vibrant high school student, bound to a chair and confronted by Satoru Gojo, blindfolded man whose aura oozes enigma. Conversation hints at a dramatic event, metamorphosis inside Yuji. But before we can piece together the puzzle, the narrative throws us into the recent past. Yuji's regular school day is anything but ordinary. While his athletic prowess draws attention, especially with a jaw-dropping shot put record, Yuji's heart remains with the Occult Research Club, a group under threat of dissolution. Meanwhile, a student from Jujutsu Tech named Megumi Fushiguro stealthily scans the school grounds for a cursed object. But as the sun sets, tragedy strikes. Yuji's grandfather breathes his last. In the heart of this turmoil is a cursed object which, unbeknownst to Yuji, is dangerously linked with the supernatural realm of curses, birthed from collective human negativity. As night falls, Yuji's friends from the occult club find themselves imperiled, playing with this object that has the potential to unleash malevolent entities. When Megumi confronts Yuji about the cursed item, urgency colors their exchange. The stakes, sky high. The threat, imminent. The duo's arrival at school reveals a nightmare scenario. Curses, grotesque and fearsome, have manifested and are preying on Yuji's friends. Armed with his jujutsu, Megumi summons his divine dogs, fierce spirit allies, to tackle the spiraling danger. Yet, Yuji's determination, fueled by memories of his grandfather's last words, pushes him headfirst into this chaotic fray. But how does one defeat curses without cursed energy? Yuji's unyielding spirit finds an audacious solution, swallowing the cursed object, a finger. This act unleashes the terrifying power of Ryomen Sukuna, a malevolent spirit that effortlessly decimates the looming threat. However, the situation morphs from bad to catastrophic. Yuji's act of bravery has incarnated the dark power of Sukuna, whose sole desire is humanity's annihilation. The world might have faced imminent doom, but in a stunning twist, Yuji's indomitable will wrests control back from Sukuna. Realizing the perilous power dormant in Yuji, readies himself for a heart-wrenching decision to exercise his newfound ally. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. What is a very popular and loved anime that you haven't watched yet? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out in a future video. Episode 2. Megumi, eyes darkened with determination, asserts he will treat Yuji like a curse and exorcise him. But Yuji, sensing the intention behind Megumi's stance, raises his arms, signaling peace and control over his own actions. Still, Megumi is trapped in doubt, unsure whether this is a ruse by the curse inside Yuji. Their standoff is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Megumi's teacher, Satoru Gojo. The silver-haired man's sudden entrance surprises Megumi. When probed, Gojo explains his tardiness by saying he was busy dealing with the elders. Yuji's disclosure of swallowing a cursed finger catches Gojo's interest. After a close examination, Gojo concludes that Yuji and Sukuna, the ancient curse, have indeed merged. To further understand the depth of Yuji's control, Gojo proposes a test, challenges Yuji to let Sukuna take over for a brief 10 seconds. If Yuji can regain control after, it would prove his potential. Gumi watches in horror, realizing his teacher's plan. As Sukuna takes over, Gojo readies himself. Sukuna, eager to prove his dominance, lunges, but Gojo's speed is unparalleled, dodging every attack with an ease that seems almost mocking. Gojo, deciding to show off for Megumi, lands a series of bewildering blows on Sukuna. Gojo counters Sukuna's desperate final strike with ease. When Yuji regains control, the relief on Megumi's face face is evident. Soon after, Gojo knocks Yuji unconscious. When Yuji awakens, bound in a room filled with seals, Gojo reveals the Jujutsu Elder's decision to execute him. However, Gojo has managed to suspend the sentence. By consuming all of Sukuna's fingers, Yuji can be the vessel that traps Sukuna forever, thus serving a purpose for Jujutsu tech. Later, Yuji visits his friends, Sasaki and Iguchi, at the hospital. With Iguchi unconscious, Sasaki is racked with guilt. Yuji, though, takes the blame, reassuring Sasaki that a sorcerer will soon heal Iguchi. Outside, Yuji and Gojo discuss the curse phenomenon. Gojo bluntly explains the consequences of encountering curses, enforcing the danger of their world. Yuji, with newfound resolve, swallows another of Sukuna's fingers. Though it initially looks as if Sukuna is trying to break free, Yuji reveals that he's simply repulsed by the act. With his decision made, Yuji prepares to leave. Gojo informs him of their next destination, Tokyo Metropolitan Jujutsu Technical School. Megumi joins them and the trio sets out. The school, one of only two of its kind, serves as a hub for Jujutsu sorcerers. But before Yuji's enrollment, he must face Principal Yaga. The Elder has the authority to decide Yuji's fate. During his interaction with Yaga, Yuji's convictions are tested. Through a brutal onslaught from Yaga's cursed puppet, Yuji realizes his true motivations and proves his worth, securing his place in the school. As Gojo introduces Yuji to his new surroundings, the reality of his mission sinks in. Yuji will be both a vessel and a locator for the remaining cursed fingers. As the two step outside, Megumi, their neighbor, greets them with mild annoyance. Gojo's final revelation of the day is the imminent arrival of the third first-year student, Nobara Kugisaki, a girl about to leave her past behind. Episode 3. In Tokyo, Yuji and Megumi stand outside the train station in Harajuku, awaiting the arrival of their new classmate. Yuji, gazing around, wonders aloud about the notably small size of their class. Suddenly, Gojo approaches, praising Yuji's attire and revealing he had the uniform custom-made with a hood. Their attention is drawn to a young girl, calling out to a man scouting for models, demanding to be interviewed. Gojo hails her and she turns. Momentarily taken aback, after safely stashing her belongings in a nearby coin locker, she formally introduces herself as Nobara Kugisaki, cheekily adding that the two boys are fortunate to have her as their female companion. While Yuji and Megumi introduce themselves, Nobara remains unimpressed. Gojo announces a grand Tokyo tour for the group, leading to heightened expectations of a glamorous Roppongi exploration. Instead, Gojo takes them to a desolate building near a cemetery, infested with a curse. Megumi begins explaining how fear associated with graveyards can give rise to curses, but Nobara interjects, questioning Yuji's unawareness of such basics. Discovering the tale of Yuji swallowing Sukuna's finger, she reacts with visible disgust. Announcing a field test for the duo, Gojo equips Yuji with Slaughter Demon, a knife imbued with cursed energy, instructing him to avoid using Sukuna's power. As they prepare to purge the building of curses, Megumi offers assistance, but Gojo clarifies this is predominantly Nobara's test. Inside, Nobara quickly takes charge, dispatching Yuji to the ground floor while she examines the upper level. As Yuji ponders her assertive demeanor, cursed spirit lunges from above. Relying on his instincts, Yuji swiftly counters, annihilating the spirit with his cursed tool. Outside, Gojo muses about Yuji's audacity, appreciating his immediate transition from a regular student to confidently battling curses. To be an accomplished sorcerer, Gojo believes a touch of madness is essential to navigate. Nobara, upstairs, confronts a possessed mannequin animated by a cursed spirit. With her signature hammer and nails, she forces the curse to manifest. While she boasts experience, Nobara annihilates the curse's head with her energized nails. Soon after, she stumbles upon a terrified child. Attempting to coax him, she's interrupted by another curse, which, showcasing its intellect, takes the boy hostage. Just as the situation grows dire, with the curse threatening the child's life, Yuji bursts through a wall, severing the curse's limb and freeing the boy. As the curse contemplates escape, Nobara resorts to her straw doll technique, effectively exorcising it by targeting its detached limb. Nobara then divulges her past, narrating how her friend, Saori, faced ostracization in their village for being a Tokyo native. To defy the villagers, Nobara decided to study at Jujutsu Tech. Yuji, perplexed by her reasons, nonetheless respects them. Grateful for Yuji's intervention, albeit momentarily, Nobara probes about his exceptional strength. Following their mission, Gojo proposes a celebratory dinner. Remembering her stashed belongings, Nobara directs Yuji to retrieve them. Seeking Megumi's support, Yuji finds him engrossed in his phone, with Gojo teasingly suggesting Megumi's sulking due to his exclusion from the mission. Episode 4. In the heart of Tokyo, Kiyotaka Ijichi, the assistant manager at Tokyo Jujutsu High, gathers the first years Yuji Itadori, Megumi Fushiguro, and Nobara Kugisaki. He informs them of a situation at a detention center. Windows have observed a cursed womb. This isn't just any curse. 5 detainees remain trapped in detainee block 2. Yuji, ever curious, questions the implications of a special grade. Ijichi delves into an explanation and solemnly advises them that should they confront this particular grade, the only viable options are to flee or perish. Their mission is twofold: confirm the cursed womb's presence and rescue any survivors. As they prepare to embark on their mission, an emotionally distraught mother approaches them, pleading for her detained son's safety. This emotional plea lights a fire within Yuji, and he passionately communicates his intent to save everyone to his peers. Both nod in agreement. Ijichi crafts a curtain, a unique barrier shielding them from external views, while Megumi brings forth his white divine dog, ensuring they receive early warnings of curses approaching. Entering the detention center, Megumi discerns they've inadvertently wandered into a curse's innate domain. As Yuji and Nobara humorously express their alarm, Megumi remains steadfast, relying on his white divine dog's olfactory skills to detect threats. As they delve deeper, they find several mutilated bodies, one of which is Tadashi, the son of the pleading mother from earlier. Yuji desires to return the bodies to the outside, but Megumi highlights the reality. Tadashi was detained for recklessly injuring a young girl while driving. Their heated discussion about the value of life and protection is interrupted by Nobara's sudden abduction by a lurking curse. Without warning, the white divine dog falls. Panic ensues as a formidable special grade curse spirit makes its appearance. Both young men freeze in terror, but Yuji attempts an offensive with his knife. His efforts only result in the loss of his left hand and the shattering of his weapon. In a different area, Nobara finds herself cornered by grotesque mass curses. As she fights them off, her tools are diminishing. Concurrently, Yuji, despite his immense willpower, is steadily overpowered by the dominant special grade curse. Megumi, utilizing his black divine dog, manages to rescue Nobara. Simultaneously, a battered and emotionally drained Yuji experiences an epiphany. With renewed vigor, he assaults the special grade spirit. Although the spirit effortlessly halts his advances, recognizing the dire situation, Yuji relinquishes control to the malevolent Sukuna within him. Sukuna, visibly annoyed, faces off against the special grade curse, quickly asserting his dominance. The sheer power he displays is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Outside, Megumi, having sent Nobara away with Ijichi, prepares himself to handle Sukuna should the situation escalate. Back inside, Sukuna effortlessly decimates the special grade curse. With the enemy dispatched, Sukuna retrieves the finger responsible for spawning the cursed womb. As the dust settles, Sukuna, exuding malevolence, demands Yuji to reclaim control, yet there's no response. A devilish grin spreads across Sukuna's face as he realizes that, for the time being, the vessel's body is solely under his command. Episode 5. Outside the detention center, Megumi observes that the cursed womb's innate domain has vanished. He's hopeful for Yuji's return, but Sukuna appears with a twisted grin, announcing that Yuji won't be resurfacing anytime soon. Sukuna, brimming with malevolence, attributes Yuji's inability to regain control to an overexertion of his power. To emphasize his dominance, Sukuna rips out Yuji's heart. To further consolidate his power, Sukuna devours another of his fingers. Sukuna, seeing no reason beyond sheer malice, readies himself to kill Megumi. For Megumi, the situation has come full circle, bearing resemblance to their initial meeting, only now their roles seem reversed. Resolute, Megumi asserts that even if it costs his life, Yuji will reclaim his body. He dismisses Sukuna's taunts about Yuji's perceived cowardice. When Megumi identifies Sukuna's capability of using a reverse curse technique, he decides to engage in combat, hoping to exploit the apparent vulnerability of a heartless enemy. The battle unfolds with Megumi summoning Nu and trying to strategically assail Sukuna, but Sukuna, showcasing unmatched prowess, subdues Megumi's attempts. The latter then calls upon Orochi, lifting Sukuna into the air for a synchronized attack, only for Sukuna to ruthlessly overpower him. Megumi, undeterred, releases Nu for another assault. Sukuna, fascinated by Megumi's unique techniques, questions his decision to retreat during their encounter with the cursed womb. Megumi, filled with emotion, recalls the misfortunes his sister and father faced and reflects on the inherent injustice of the world. Admits to rescuing Yuji because he couldn't bear the thought of a kind person facing an undeserved end. Moved by Megumi's words, Yuji manages to momentarily take control of his body, sharing a heartfelt farewell with his friend before succumbing to his grave injuries. In Tokyo, a quartet of enigmatic figures ambles through a crowd, discussing the events surrounding Sukuna and Yuji. Unbeknownst to the people, only one of them is visible to the human eye. Concurrently, Gojo, in the school morgue, confronts Ijichi, suspecting a conspiracy by the higher-ups against Yuji. Dr. Shoko Yeri enters the scene, and with Gojo's reluctant approval, principal, prepares to study Yuji's remains. Megumi and Nobara, grappling with the loss of their friend, are approached by second-year Jujutsu students Maki Zenin, Toge Inumaki, and Panda. They learn of another, Yuta Okotsu, who's currently overseas. In an attempt to shift focus from the sorrowful ambience, the topic turns to the Kyoto Sister School Goodwill event, a yearly competition between Jujutsu schools. Both Megumi and Nobara agree to participate. Elsewhere, a clandestine gathering of cursed spirits and a sorcerer ensues. The cursed spirits divulge their grand vision of overturning the human cursed spirit dynamic and seek guidance on overpowering the Jujutsu sorcerers. The plan? Neutralize Satoru Gojo and turn Sukuna into an ally. However, doubts linger regarding Yuji's true fate. Deep within the remnants of Yuji's soul, Sukuna watches, ever scheming. Episode 6. Transitioning from this dark setting, Gojo's passion for nurturing the next generation of sorcerers is evident. Grieved by Yuji's loss, he hopes to reform the Jujutsu community and cultivate allies for future battles. This commitment is further emphasized when Yuji miraculously revives, prompting Gojo's decision to covertly train him for the upcoming Goodwill event. Simultaneously, tensions rise in a diner where Suguru Geto and his cursed associates reside. The conversation revolves around overpowering Gojo with the special grade cursed object. Megumi confronts his past, visiting Tadashi's mother and expressing his remorse for failing to save him. Concurrently, Yuji, under Gojo's guidance, grapples with the intricate nuances of Jujutsu. Gojo illustrates the difference between raw cursed energy and its application via techniques, likening it to electricity powering devices. As Yuji embarks on this challenging journey, Megumi contemplates integrating weapons into his cursed technique, inspired by his recent interaction with Sukuna, while Yuji engrosses himself in films, aiming to control his fluctuating cursed energy. A sudden disturbance disrupts the peace. Gojo, sensing the impending threat, confronts his adversary head-on, coming face-to-face with the audacious Jogo. The air is thick with anticipation as the two powerhouses prepare for their inevitable clash. Episode 7. In the midst of their journey, Gojo senses an anomaly and instructs Ijichi to halt the vehicle. As Gojo disembarks, leaving Ijichi behind, a menacing figure named Jogo descends, intent on crushing Gojo. Swiftly avoiding Jogo's onslaught, Gojo encounters an explosive attack from Jogo's volcanic head, only to emerge unscathed. This display prompts Gojo to classify Jogo as an unregistered special grade, considering his potent cursed energy even mightier than the present-day Sukuna. The location of their skirmish was Jogo's strategic choice to prevent any backup for Gojo. In a rapid sequence of fiery assaults, Jogo's efforts are futile against Gojo's unique defense, the Infinity. Demonstrating this phenomenon to Gojo reveals an intangible barrier preventing any contact. Mocking Gojo then employs a powerful technique, Curse Technique Reversal Red, sending the curse hurtling. Desperate and outmatched, Jogo ponders Geto's warning about facing Gojo alone, but before Jogo can further contemplate, Gojo vanishes momentarily, only to return with his student, Yuji. Gojo introduces this battle as a learning opportunity for Yuji to witness the zenith of Jujutsu combat, domain expansion. Jogo's temper flares at the perceived insult, and he retaliates with his domain expansion, Coffin of the Iron Mountain. Within this domain, every attack is bound to hit its target. As Jogo prepares to strike, Gojo counters with his own domain expansion, Unlimited Void. This realm overwhelms Jogo with infinite knowledge, rendering him motionless. Seizing the moment, Gojo incapacitates Jogo, aiming to extract information. But as Gojo interrogates, an unexpected attack emerges from Hanami, another powerful curse. Using a wooden entity to distract Gojo and Yuji, Hanami retrieves Jogo and evades capture, leaving Gojo astonished by the elusive escape. Feeling responsible, Yuji regrets letting the curses slip away. Gojo, however, remains optimistic, expressing his desire for Yuji and his classmates to become adept enough to defeat such formidable adversaries. They decide on a month-long training regimen, culminating in participation in the Goodwill event. Concurrently, Principal Yaga expresses frustration at Ijichi over Gojo's habitual tardiness. Meanwhile, Geto returns to the curse's hideout. Concealed behind an ordinary apartment door, he reunites with the group's leader, Mahito, as Hanami, clutching Jogo's head. Despite Jogo's disgruntlement, the group aligns on their objective, to seal Gojo on October 31st in Shibuya. Episode 8. In the heart of Tokyo, Jujutsu High Grounds, Megumi and Nobara are in the midst of running errands for Maki. As they move about, Panda conveys his concern about an impending meeting with the principal from Kyoto. Maki is nonchalant, confident that the principal wouldn't dare cause any trouble in broad daylight. However, Panda's worries aren't about the principal. He suspects that the students accompanying him might be there to stir the pot. Right on cue, Aoi Todo and Mai Zenin make their entrance. The pair, indeed with the principal from Kyoto, claims they've come to check on Megumi and Nobara, especially especially after the recent death of their classmate. To add salt to the wound, Mai insensitively mocks their deceased friend, irking both Megumi and Nobara. Meanwhile, Aoi seems disinterested in the drama. Suddenly, Aoi throws an oddball question at Megumi. He wants to know what type of women Megumi likes. According to Aoi, the answer will determine whether he'll brutally beat Megumi or not. A person's preferences, he believes, speaks volumes about their character. Megumi, trying to avoid conflict, simply responds that he values a compassionate character in a partner. Unimpressed, Aoi brands Megumi as boring and immediately launches an attack. Mai restrains Nobara, making sure she doesn't intervene in the battle between Aoi and Megumi. The skirmish quickly moves outdoors, where Aoi's reputation precedes him. Megumi recalls stories of Aoi's prowess, particularly about him exorcising numerous cursed spirits on the Shinjuku. Using his signature technique, Megumi conjures winged toads from his bottomless well to counter Aoi's blows, but Aoi's raw power gives him an upper hand, and it's only when Panda and Toge step in that the conflict is diffused. Simultaneously, Nobara, having been struck down by Mai, is assisted by Maki. The tension is palpable between the two sisters. Nobara cleverly uses Maki as a diversion to engage with Mai, but the confrontation is cut short when Aoi returns to collect his classmate. They part with Nobara and Maki, leaving them with a taste of their strength and disdain. Maki and Nobara then delve into a conversation about Maki's inability to use cursed energy. Maki reveals her drive to become a sorcerer is deeply personal. She wants to defy her family, who belittled her all her life. Elsewhere, Satoru Gojo faces off with Principal Gakuganji. Gojo, suspecting Gakuganji's involvement in Yuji's attempted assassination, holds nothing back. Gakuganji's student, Kasumi Miwa, although a fan of Gojo, asks him to be respectful. However, Gojo, confident in the next generation of sorcerers, hints at a new age in Jujutsu, one that will leave old traditions in the dust. An annoyed Gakuganji watches as Gojo makes a cheeky exit, leaving Kasumi in awe and wanting a photograph with him. Aoi, in another part of the city, achieves his personal goal, meeting his favorite idol. Fast forward a month, gruesome scene unfolds. 3 grotesquely mutated bodies are discovered in the Kinema Cinema movie theater. Mahito, the malevolent figure responsible, leaves the scene, but not without being spotted by a young man who possesses the unique ability to see him. As the mysteries deepen, Yuji Itadori, now with another sorcerer, called to unravel the chilling incidents at the cinema. Episode 9. Amid the busy hallways of Sadazakura High School, Junpei Yoshino stands out, not because he's popular or loved, because he's a target of relentless bullying. Inside, Junpei harbors a unique wish. He wouldn't wish death upon those he loathes. Junpei sneaks off to watch the movie Human Earthworm 3. Fate seems to mock him as his bullies walk into the same theater. The very sight of them drags up painful memories. Memories where Tsubasa is the focal point. However, these memories get a dark twist when Mahito, a malicious cursed spirit, murders the noisy bullies for their disturbance. Curiosity piqued, Junpei investigates the gruesome aftermath, only to follow Mahito, drawn to the enigma of the spirit's capabilities. In the aftermath of this sinister act, 2 figures emerged to delve into the incident. Yuji Itadori, still fresh in the world of curses, and the Grade 1 sorcerer Kento Nanami. As they examine the distorted remains, Yuji learns to discern residuals, byproduct of cursed techniques. Nanami simply reminds him that only moderate effort is needed for this mission. Their mentor-student dynamic is rooted in a meeting arranged by Satoru Gojo, where Yuji is introduced to Nanami, the ex-salaryman turned sorcerer. Nanami, yet in all this, he holds reservations about Yuji's status as a sorcerer. Amidst the rain on a building rooftop, the duo encounters what seem to be curses. These adversaries split their attention, with Nanami urging Yuji to deal with one, while he handles the other. As their battles rage, Nanami elucidates the inner workings of his cursed technique, teaching Yuji the advantages of revealing one's hand. Demonstrating his prowess, Nanami dispatches his foe with precision. On the other side, Yuji, reflecting on Gojo's teachings, wields his newfound technique, the divergent fist, to defeat his enemy, earning a rare nod of acknowledgement from Nanami. But a grim realization dawns upon Nanami. These weren't mere curses, they were once human. Shoko Ieri, upon examination, verifies their mutated state, transmuted by a cursed technique similar to the theater victims. As Yuji grapples with the weight of this truth, the duo decides to amp up their efforts in tracking down their elusive enemy. The narrative switches to a darkened room, where Mahito enlightens Junpei about the origins and nature of curses, explaining how he embodies the human resentment towards their own kind. As this sinister induction unfolds, Nanami, with his detective skills, pinpoints their adversary's hideout, yet he sends Yuji on another mission, to trail Junpei, the sole witness to Mahito's gruesome act. With Ijichi as his partner and a trapped curse as their bait, the duo discreetly tracks Junpei, their path uncertain but their determination unwavering. Episode 10. At Satozakura High School, Junpei Yoshino, passionate about movies, once found solace in the movie club, a sanctuary he created with fellow enthusiasts. But like all stories with shadows, bullies interrupt their peace. Their demand for the room upsets the fragile balance. Junpei's only request, to get his DVD back. But the simple ask spirals into violence as Shota Ito and his gang take it as an affront and unleash a barrage of beatings on Junpei, leaving Junpei to bear the brunt. Switching scenes, Junpei now finds himself in the presence of the eerie cursed spirit, Mahito. Engrossed in their conversation, Mahito delves into Japanese wordplay, exploring the popular phrase, "The opposite of love is indifference." As if to demonstrate the depth of his sinister powers, Mahito showcases his cursed technique, where he molds human forms, stretching their limits in grotesque manners. But Junpei, well acquainted with the darkest facets of humanity, remains unshaken. Unbeknownst to Junpei as he departs from Mahito's lair, two figures, Ijichi and Yuji, tail him. As they maneuver their vehicle discreetly behind Junpei, Yuji gets briefed on his next mission, to harness weak, cursed spirits, flyheads, probe Junpei's Jujutsu aptitude, to glean any links to the theater mishap. Simultaneously, the underground world witnesses an intense encounter as Nanami steps into Mahito's realm. Unlike the bloodlust of most sorcerers, Nanami's principle is clear. He spares those who can be saved, even if they're mutated humans. The two adversaries lock eyes. Mahito, sizing up Nanami, revels in the appearance of an opponent weaker than Sadaru Gojo, potent enough for his experiments. Nanami's intent is simple: end this swiftly and avoid any overtime. The clashes unravel. A momentary triumph for Nanami sees him breaking Mahito's arm. Yet the cursed spirit remains unperturbed, steering the conversation to a philosophical tangent about the genesis of body and soul. As Mahito unveils his technique, idle transfiguration, morphs souls and forms. Outside, Junpei's day worsens as he encounters Sotomura, an irksome teacher. On the verge of lashing out, Junpei's moment of ire gets interrupted by Yuji's sudden appearance with a fly head, with Sotomura incessantly intruding their conversation, stripping Sotomura of his pants and making a run for it. This diversion creates a brief window for Junpei and Yuji to converse without disturbances. The underground face-off between Nanami and Mahito escalates. Nanami navigates through the labyrinthine terrain, dodging transfigured humans weaponized by Mahito. A disadvantageous matchup for Nanami becomes apparent, and Mahito's sudden burst of speed nearly proves fatal as he tries reshaping Nanami's soul. Bruised but not beaten, he realizes the need for a strategic retreat. The chase through the sewer culminates in an exhilarating twist. As the clock ticks closer to 6, a surge of cursed energy envelops Nanami, catching the ever-confident Mahito off guard. Episode 11. As the seconds tick by, Nanami's surge in power doesn't go unnoticed. Mahito swiftly grasps that this surge is no mere coincidence. It's a product of Nanami's clever manipulation of time-based vows. Nanami, tapping into his heightened prowess, charts his next move. While retreat might be the intuitive option, but just as Mahito strategizes a dodge, Nanami's sharp move slices off Mahito's leg, and as if signaling a temporary retreat, debris descends upon Mahito, seemingly burying the cursed spirit. Elsewhere, Yuji and Junpei, two souls bound by circumstances, sit by riverside stairs, reveling in a shared passion movies. Their shared enthusiasm is briefly disrupted when Junpei notices Yuji's unique swirly button, indicating his sorcerer identity. Questions regarding the mysterious movie theater incident surface, but Junpei feigns ignorance. The duo's discourse soon gets steered back to films, till Nagi Yoshino, Junpei's mother, happens upon them, cordially inviting Yuji for dinner. This heartwarming scene runs parallel to Geto's underground exploration, where he stumbles upon the aftermath of the Nanami-Mahito clash. Mahito's underlying joy is evident. The battle was enlightening for the cursed spirit. The domestic ambience at the Yoshino residence paints a stark contrast. The dinner table scene radiates warmth as conversations and laughter flow, but the tranquility shatters when, post-dinner, Nagi encounters one of Sukuna's fingers. The ominous artifact acts as a magnet for a curse, tragically claiming her life. Nanami's contemplative mood reflects his concern over Mahito's prodigious capabilities, such a fledgling cursed spirit. On the other hand, Ijichi grapples with anxiety, fearing Nanami's reproach over his oversight. Back at the Yoshino household, Yuji and Junpei bond further, with movies again serving as the bridge. However, as they part, Junpei poses a somber question, probing Yuji's moral compass on taking a life. Yuji's response underscores the sanctity of life, leaving Junpei in deep thought. The subsequent morning unfolds ominously. Junpei, draped in his late mother's black attire, returns to school, but he's not alone. Mahito and Geto, always lurking, orchestrate a dark play, malevolent intention. Use Junpei as bait to entrap Yuji in a binding vow with Sukuna. And in this wicked game, the Sukuna finger at Junpei's home serves as the linchpin. Inside the school's auditorium, a chilling scene unfolds. Junpei's entrance induces unconsciousness among the audience, sparing only Shota Ito, very bully who tormented him, and the teacher Sotomura. Junpei confronts Shota, the animosity brims. Fingers are pointed, accusations fly. Junpei's newfound Jujutsu abilities manifest brutally. As the tension peaks on the verge of Junpei delivering the fatal blow, Yuji bursts onto the scene. Their friendship, once warm and budding, now teeters on the edge with Junpei's chilling words echoing, urging Yuji to stay away. Episode 12. Yuji dials Nanami, declaring his decision to head to Sarazakura High School. Amidst confronting grotesquely transformed humans in the city's underground with Takuma Ino, Nanami advises Yuji against it, fearing the ominous Patchface Curse's possible presence at the school. Urging Yuji to stand by, Nanami sweetens the deal for Ino, hinting at a promotion to motivate him into action. Defying Nanami's orders, Yuji is resolute in his mission. Ijichi tries to deter him, haunted by memories of their tragic initial mission. Yet Yuji pushes on, arriving at the school. He's greeted by a chilling sight. Junpei, wielding his newfound abilities. As Yuji intervenes, he grapples with Junpei's protective Shikigami, Moon Dregs. Throughout their duel, Junpei articulates his bleak worldview, dismissing the concepts of salvation and morality. He attributes his newfound powers to Mahito's teachings. The tide turns when Yuji ensnares Junpei, and they crash through a window. Regaining consciousness, Junpei, overwhelmed by sorrow and memories of his mother, confronts Yuji. Heeding Gojo's counsel, Yuji focuses his attention on Junpei. Just when Junpei appears to waver, Mahito emerges, injecting chaos into the already volatile situation. Yuji's instincts flare up, warning Junpei of Mahito's menace. But Junpei's trust is exploited, and he is grotesquely transmuted by Mahito, setting the stage for a bitter confrontation between him and Yuji. In a desperate plea, Yuji beckons Sukuna for aid, only to face rejection. Mahito, however, misreads the situation, incorrectly assuming the absence of a binding vow between Sukuna and Yuji. The atmosphere grows palpably somber as Junpei succumbs to his transformations. Enraged, Yuji retaliates. The two engage in a fierce ballet of blows, but Mahito's malleability seems to give him a slight advantage. When Mahito audaciously attempts to invoke Sukuna, he is met with a stern rebuke, underlining the precariousness of their association. But the tides shift with the timely arrival of Nanami, who averts a fatal strike on Yuji. With the immediate threat momentarily neutralized, Nanami assesses the situation. Realizing the unique dynamic between Yuji's attacks and Mahito's vulnerabilities, Nanami deduces that Mahito is incapable of manipulating Yuji's soul. Armed with this knowledge, the duo steel themselves, united in their mission to expel the curse once and for all. Curious as to what happens next? Like and subscribe for part 2, and definitely don't forget to answer the question of the day for a chance to be featured in our next video.